Good morning. Old Granddaddy coming here to you again. I've got a little story that I was just reminded of. I want to share with you. It's kind of funny. I'm going to be careful to not name any names because it's kind of a little bit of an underhanded way to do a fella, and this actually happened. It actually happened to a family member. One of my uncles, well actually it wasn't my uncle, he was actually a cousin, but I called him uncle. Anyway, back in the days of hogs and cows and everything running loose in the woods, and then I guess this was sometime in the early 60s, I'm not sure, whenever they passed the no fence laws, they give everybody so many days to get all their stock out of the woods. Anything you didn't get out by then, of course, everybody just, after that time was up, everybody just disowned them then, because the law used to be, if you had something you didn't want livestock to get in and mess up, you had to fence them out of it, no matter where you're at. So livestock had free range, just like it still does out from parts of the western country, I understand. But when the no fence law went in, of course, what happened, enough people from what they call out-of-towners, kept moving into the state, and finally they lobbied enough to change the state legislature enough to undo it. So I think it was 2 or 3 years they give everybody to get all your livestock out of the woods. After that, anything that was out there was, you could still claim it, but if you tore up something, it was yours. So naturally everybody, once they got out all they could get out, they just disowned everything else. And that's why you still all over the southeast, now you eat up with wild hogs, because there were so many of them left. What at one time, a lot of them was domestic hogs, but even back then a whole lot of hogs were woods hogs or half woods hogs that people had caught and raised and mixed with good hogs, but cows too. If I was able, there's probably places down in that old forest down there way back out. I know there was when I was a young man, still small herds of wild cattle out there. But that was all on government land, and of course that's the only reason they could still be there, because everything else developed up, But anyhow, this certain uncle of mine, he had him a job uptown, which was a city about a 40-minute drive north of where he lived. And like everybody else, he lived in the country and farmed and had some hogs and a handful of cows and chickens and whatever it took to survive. And he raised a big family, all good people. Anyhow, he befriended this fella up there, and I remember him, remember his name. I was told the story many times. I was just a young lad, I guess. I don't know, I might have been a teenager when it happened, but this man, he was, I don't know where he made his money, but he had a little money, and he had bought a big old piece of land down there not too far behind Granddaddy's old home place, what they used to call part of the Flatwoods. But anyhow, my uncle had befriended him for a good long time, and he had a field back there. He had made pretty good corn in that year. And back then, didn't nobody have harvesting equipment, and most of your corn and what peanuts you didn't get picked by no stationary pick or any other crops, whether it was velvet beans or whatever, especially corn, was left in the field, and instead of trying to gather it and take it to feed your livestock, you just turn livestock in the field on the corn. Hogs was the main thing, fatten the hogs up. You get sows and pigs, or you catch you up some wild hogs, or you go buy feeder pigs, or buy some young hogs from somebody else, and you castrate them and mark them and turn them loose, and then when they get fattened out good, they worth some money, and you take them off and sell them after 2 or 3 or 4 months, and they be gleaned out all that field. Anyhow, he talked this fella into going in hides with him, and he had the feed, he had the corn, he had the field full of corn, and he was going to furnish the feed, and the man was going to furnish the money to buy the hogs with. They were going to go buy a bunch of pigs and hogs and put in that field and fatten them off on hides. Well, that sounded like a good deal. A lot of people done that back then. It was a quite common practice. You know, one man had the feed and another man had the hogs, and then divide the livestock or divide the profits. Well, you know, like I say, things were tough, and you know, hard times call for hard measures, I guess, sometimes. But like I say, it was kind of an underhanded thing, because the fella it happened to, he could easily afford it, but it's still, like, you know, like everybody said, it's still wrong. But anyhow, it was quite funny. When the hogs got fattened up pretty good, it was about time to carry them to market. And he told this fellow one day, he said, you know, something happened, I don't know where a tree blew down and what, but said, tore up the fence, and said all the hogs got out. They're all over that swamp down there now. He said, I've hunted hogs and hunted hogs and hunted hogs. He said, they everywhere down there. They had about, I think, 150, 200 head, field full of hogs. And man said, the heck you say? He said, yeah, they everywhere. He said, I about got most of mine rounded up, but he said, yours is still all out there in the woods. He said, I'll try to help you get them up if we can. Well, in actuality, you know what had happened. And anyhow, they said that poor fella come down there for about a month, walking all over that swamp, shaking a bucket of corn, calling hogs. And they've been many a laugh come out of that deal. And that's just one of them old stories that actually happened. It was quite amusing, especially if you wasn't on the losing end of the stick, I guess. But anyhow, my time's up. Y'all give us a like and a share and subscribe if you will, and tune in again. Look forward to talking to you some more, and God bless you, and y'all have a good evening.